to my channel. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to Kubernetes. Kubernetes, uh, a short name K8s, is an open source container orchestration platform. In a short language, it is a cluster management software system, and it is designed to automate the deployment, scaling, and management of containerized applications. For example, you run a lot of applications. One of them is web server, the other database server, the other CI/CD Jenkins, and all these instances were run in a Docker container, for instance. And this container were managed by this cluster. And if any of these services is down, um, and it will be spin up automatically, and also you can have multiple instances of same exact web services or software system. um, and KES was originally developed by Google. Google is a very awesome company, and it has offered a lot of open source projects like Android and Node.js in the past, and also Chrome, right? There is a free version of Chromium. This project KAS right now is maintained by Cloud Native Computing Foundation, CNCF. Um, as we said that Kubernetes is a cluster orchestration, container orchestration, and it has a self-healing and high availabilities. Um, to restart a pod, a Docker container, is actually less than a second. It's very, very quick. I will show you in the later videos. And also, Kubernetes has internal load balancing and scaling, and we can easily deploy and scale the projects. And also, it supports horizontal scaling, which basically means adding more containers, and vertical scaling, increasing the container resources. Basically means the CPU, memory, or hard drive. Okay. Number four is the declarative configurations. We use a very standardized configuration files like YAML and JSON files to define the desired state. Number five is multi-cloud and hybrid support. So today, in the next couple of videos, I'm going to show you the free open source Minikube Kubernetes instance, and there are also other uh, uh, Kubernetes implementations that runs on AWS, Azure, or GCP. On premises, meaning that pay as you use, or even Raspberry Pi clusters. I have to make a disclaimer. Everything that is on my website right now is collected from AI, and I put the link in the bottom of this page. For to access my document, you can go to kevinlee dash webertech.github.io and click on blog, and go to courses, and go to DevOps and KAS, and then you click on intro KAS. Okay. um, so so for Kubernetes, it has a lot of components. We also have a lot of jargons here. One is called cluster, and the second thing is a node. This node is a physical or virtual machine that runs the containers. So it's like a virtual machine that runs. A virtual machine is more, if you use AWS, you can think of it's like a EC2 instance, a virtual machine. And then inside of it, we run containers, which is another Docker container, a headless virtual machine of Linux file systems, for instance. Pod is the smallest deployable unit. Normally, it's a one plus containers, shared storage over the storage and network. Deployment manages replicas of sets of pods. For example, one deployment, it's like it's an action, and then you actually deploy a couple of, for instance, 4 pods. You can initially have 1 pod running, and then you can scale it up to 4. So that's called deployment. And services will exposed pods as a network services. So services is the ultimate um, unit that we're talking about. Um, in the next couple of labs, we're going to go through using a node type deployment and also a load balance deployment. Ingress manages external HTTP services, access to services. Config map is like a hash map, key value uh, dedicated service that is running on a heap to stores the configuration data and sensitive information because it's going to be hashed. And volume persists storage for pods, so its volume is the same thing as when we learned Docker. kubectl is the CLI tools. So essentially, we need to install two tools, right? Two binary CLI tools. One is kubectl, and the other one is a minikube, which I'll be showing you in the next couple of videos. Um, why use Kubernetes? Of course, number one, scalabilities. Number two, fault tolerances. Um, Number three, portabilities. And also, it's DevOps and CI/CD friendly. It's very easy to use, and it has a very good integrations with tools like Helm, Argo CD, and Jenkins. So we're going to take a look at those in the later videos. Example of use cases, we're talking about, microservices architectures. We have a front end services, we have back end services. Um, Everything is connect to in the architecture diagram, we normally draw a load balancer, right? So this Kubernetes will it's like a box. It's like a box with the load balancing inside of it, and then we have all the pods inside of it. So batch processing jobs. So in a later study, we will see that Kubernetes actually supports many type of jobs, and probably more than eight. So we are going to take a look at those. Kubernetes versus Docker. Docker is creating and running containers, which is well, the Docker D is actually a manager, a daemon manager, but the Docker container itself, running container, is actually the working horses, and the Kubernetes is an orchestration of all the containers and manage them. That's the cluster. Okay. Um, Next, let's take a look at the K8s architecture. Um, we use a master and worker nodes architecture. We don't call it master slave anymore. It's a master and worker. So on the master node, there is a kube API server, etcd, and kube scheduler and controller manager. They are different processes, and they're doing different things. And then they collaborate with each other via API or IPC. Worker nodes, we have a kubelet, we have a kube proxy, and container runtime, we have a Docker and container D. Um, so we will see these in the later videos when when we start a cluster, we're going to see everything on the splash screen, and we can see the details. Networking in Kubernetes, we're going to have a deep dive of ingress. This routes the HTTP traffic. Uh, for example, we have Nginx and traffic. This is another open source project we can look into. Um, services provide a stable IP DNS names. There is a cluster IP, there is a node port, external access, and there is a load balancer, um, load balancer port. So we're going to see that the same exact example in the later labs. Storages, we have persistent volumes, PV and PVC claims. Um, these are the descriptions in the configuration file uh, upon the creation, and there is a stateful sets for stateful apps um, databases, and we're going to see the differences between stateful and unstateful, okay, in the future studies. I'm going to skip security for now, and we're going to talk about scaling, auto scaling. We have a horizontal, we have a vertical, cluster auto scaler as removes nodes. Um, monitoring and logging, we have a dashboard, and also Kubernetes provides metrics on monitoring, and then uh, perfect integration with Prometheus and Grafana, the Elk stack. Elk, I think this might be a misspelling. Elk stack, Elasticsearch, Kibana, and all that. We're going to take a look at it. Um, Number eight, Kubernetes tools. We will take a look at Helm and Argo CD, hopefully in the future videos. Um, all right, I think this is a brief introduction of Kubernetes, and in the second video, I'm going to show you how to install it and how to run it, how to start a server. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my future videos.